Hi friends, long time no see. I am back in town. I was out of the country for a little bit, so I am very out of touch with what's going on. I've been playing catch up these last couple days, but I do have a few things for you to discuss here today. Actually some big kind of cool stuff and some pretty terrifying stuff per usual. So, as always, I've got my links down below. We're gonna go over the Ed Buck arrest. Thank you. Kevin Spacey, accuser dying. We're gonna go over some big names that have gotten busted for child porn and solicitation lately. We're gonna go over a couple pretty gross, we're gonna go over some gross stuff today, guys. Hi. And all the links are going to be down below. So, hi guys. So first, where is my thing? Ed Buck getting arrested. That was what I woke up to this morning. And I have to admit, I was really excited. This is one of the things that oh, yes, Tubtown. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Let me get through the headlines first, and then we'll talk about Tubtown. We'll talk about my trip. We'll talk about all kinds of things. So anyway, Ed Buck getting arrested was a big deal because, you know, searching, and I can't believe the amount of names and characters that I've been able to keep up with and learn. And Ed Buck was one of these people that we've been keeping an eye on because we know he's super connected. He was a major Democratic donor. He was friends with the Clintons, very good friends with Adam Schiff. I remember his pictures circulating on 8chan, people talking about these deaths that had happened in his house with black male prostitutes overdosing, 2 of them, and nothing happened to him. So recently he had another man overdose in his apartment. He lived, luckily, it was September 11th, and the mother of the second man who died earlier this year started a lawsuit against him and basically saying that if they would have done something about him in 2007, I think it was, no, sorry, 2017, that maybe her son wouldn't have died. And Q had posted the second link that I put down below about Ed Buck. Q posted on July 9th saying, quote, the hunters become the hunted. And so I think we were expecting to see this guy go down, but this was a major person to fall. This guy is very connected. Again, this is Epstein level, I think. And of course, people are, sorry, are you guys, something's happening with my YouTube, but hopefully it's working for you guys. Okay, my chat's back. Anyway, so this was big. So he was a large Democratic donor, a good friend of Adam Schiff. So there was 26-year-old Jamel Moore in 2017 and 55-year-old Timothy Michael Dean. It was Timothy Michael Dean's mother that was starting the lawsuit that Q had told us about on July 9th. And they had found a diary of his mother had found a diary of his that said that his addiction was due to Ed Buck, and apparently he had Ed Buck had some kind of fetish for getting these men high to the point of death and videotaping it. And anyway, sick puppy, right? And I don't know about you guys or how many people in your life are perverts and murderers and fetishists and pedophiles and yada yada yada, but it just seems that the Clintons know a lot of really bad people, don't they? And I think that there's going to be more to this. Hopefully he doesn't also catch the Arkansas flu. But I was really excited to see him arrested, to see a perp walk. Oh, there's another link that I have below is really good. It's a tweet by CJ Truth, and it's, I think I put something about happenings. And in this tweet, it has compiled kind of a chronological list of the things that have really been happening since Q came along. And it's really nice to see them all compiled like that. They are only, there are no descriptions or anything, so these might be things that you'll need to look up. You might not know at first glance what they are, but it's a lot of resignations, deaths, things like that. So for people that are saying that things aren't happening, I recommend you go and check that out. And you know, we're paying attention now. It's also why I'm putting a few of these things. I know that in the past, every day I feel like I'm seeing another high-level person arrested for porn charges or corruption or something having to do with children. And I'm going to start covering those more because I do think it's really important for us to pay attention to them as they're happening daily, because that's the important part. Separately, we can look at these things and say, okay, these aren't connected, or these are just a bunch of sick people out there in the world. It's easy to just be like, okay, well, this is a sick world. But when we start seeing more of these things happening, it becomes kind of clear that something big is happening and that these probably are connected in some way, and that stuff's happening. For example, thousands of fetal remains found at the home of a former South Bend abortion doctor. So an interesting note about this, South Bend, Indiana is where Pete Buttigieg, or how do we say his name, Buttigieg, is from. So that's an interesting kind of connection thing. So Dr. Ulrich Klopfer, died on September 3rd, and his family was going through his house and found the remains of fetuses in his garage. So they called the police. The police go out there. They found 2,246 medically preserved fetuses. So he used to practice at the Women's Pavilion in South Bend, and his license was suspended in 2015 after he was accused of failing to report an abortion of two 13-year-old girls. He also recounted how he performed an abortion on a 10-year-old girl who was raped by her uncle, and he never reported the crime to police. So as a result, it helped her parents and this guy cover up this horrible crime. So who knows what else we don't know about that he was covering up. This guy was obviously very sick, and I have no idea. I have no idea what he was doing with those bodies. Your guess is as good as mine, but it's disgusting. And okay, so we've got Pennsylvania State Senator Mike Folmer was arrested on porn charges. I believe that was yesterday. So Republican Senator Mike Folmer, 63, was charged with sexual abuse of children, possession of child pornography, and criminal use of communication facility after law enforcement found images of child pornography on his cell phone when they searched his house. So I guess what happened was the police received a tip because someone had put up an image of child porn on Tumblr, and their investigation led to his home. So they, Senate leadership spoke out and said that they would be immediately removing him as the chair of the state Senate, yada, yada, yada. But again, another high player falls for something disgusting. And again, we don't care what side he's on, right? There are disgusting people on both sides. We just want to see all the crud cleaned out. Then we've got a Pittsburgh Pirates all-star pitcher, Felipe Vazquez, arrested on charges of child pornography. This guy, again, was found with obscene materials, solicitation of a child, and one count of providing obscene material to minors. So this came out after he had, hi Jeff, thank you. After an investigation they started an investigation into him after receiving information that he had an alleged relationship with a 13-year-old. This was 2 years ago. So this kid is now 15, and another one bites the dust, hopefully. Then I thought this was pretty interesting. I wasn't seeing this in many places, but I put a link below to an open letter that the Supreme Court Justice wrote to the Rockefeller Institute about abuse that he suffered there at their facility when he was a child. So he's a former acting New York State Supreme Court Justice and a drug court judge in New York. And the letter is basically about how he had suppressed these memories, but that he had He received a letter, I guess, from the Rockefeller Institute saying that they were investigating him, asking him if he had any memories or whatever, but as it turns out, this man had allegedly abused hundreds, maybe even thousands of children. He worked there from the 40s to the 80s. So thank goodness for this man coming forward. He is wonderful for doing so. He basically said that he wants to make sure that not only does this story get out, but that the Rockefeller Institute is actually punished monetarily. They've already come out and with an apology or something like that. But he wants to make sure that these things are hitting the institutes in their pocketbook where it speaks to them the most. And so he wants to make sure that these people are sued so that it sends a message to other places that this cannot happen and you will get screwed for letting this happen. Then we have Kevin Spacey, accuser, dies in the midst of sexual assault lawsuit. So this massage therapist had come forward in Nantucket, I think, and he basically accused Kevin Spacey of trying to fondle him while he was giving him a massage. He tried to put the man's hands on his private parts. He tried to grab the man's shoulders and kiss him or something. Anyway, this was not the first time that Kevin Spacey has had indecent allegations against him. Remember, there was a teenage busboy who Kevin Spacey had pled not guilty to felony assault and battery with this teenage busboy. So the plaintiff's lawyers, the plaintiff was going by John Doe. So this obviously complicates things. Now that he has died, we don't have any details into how he died, but he is anonymous as of right now. They're trying to figure out if they can, let's see here. There are the lawyers represented the court, two other alleged masseur victims of Spacey, expressing concern for their safety. So there are two other potential victims tagged on to this case, and the lawsuit could continue by the heirs of this man, but it will be kind of hard to do and to keep his anonymity. And this was a quote from his lawyer that said, Dr. Doe, or Mr. Doe, was a dignified, kind, middle-aged man traumatized by Spacey's alleged sexually deprived attack. As a result of this case, other victims from around the world have reached out to our firm. Mr. Doe believed their harrowing stories, and in his final months, he looked forward to standing up for all of them. His fight for justice is still very much alive. So there was also something about they were trying to respect the family and allow them to grieve and not, you know, whatever. They had to notify Kevin Spacey. But anyway, I hope that continues and that they find any misdeeds out and that he gets punished accordingly. So was that all I had? Oh, no, I had a couple other things. I've got hair that's like tickling my face. Sorry, you guys, for touching my face. I'm out of practice speaking. There was also an Ilhan Omar tweet that she deleted yesterday, and it was something like her father, it was something about Happy Father's Day to her father, and she used this name for her father, which just so happened to be the same last name that was used for the man that she married, which was allegedly her brother. So that's interesting, and the fact that she deleted it makes it a little bit more compelling that she was trying to hide this information. She's now come forward saying, giving some kind of statement saying, no, this was just a nickname that we had for my dad and I knew how it was gonna look, so I deleted it. But other information also came out where I believe on her sister's marriage certificate, she put the same name for her father. So it doesn't make sense that it was just a nickname for him if she was using it on an official document. So do with that what you will. And I think we very quickly just got through about everything that I know because I have been gone. So yes, she deleted that tweet. I just got home from Europe. I had a great time, but I am severely jet lagged and I feel like just completely strange coming back to reality. I had a very interesting, or not that interesting, but a funny story. One of the days we were in Paris and we were out shopping, and don't I sound fancy? But anyway, we were across the street from where Macron lives, and my friend comes in. There were a bunch of people standing out front and a bunch of armed guards, obviously. And my friend comes in the store. She's like, I think he's leaving right now to see him. So I was like, okay, sure, why? So I walk out. The second I walk out, the gates open up and his car drives out. And there were a bunch of like 15 and 16-year-old girls around me, like screaming, like, oh my gosh. And I took a video. He rolled his window down. He was like waving like he's some like teen beat. I don't even know. So I was sending that to my friends, and they were like, I was expecting you to throw something at him, but I'm very well behaved and I would never do that. Even though he's an a-hole, I have more respect for the people that are, you know, it's their job to keep him safe. Plus, I would be afraid in another country to misbehave like that. Anyway, I saw him with my own eyes, and that's all I have to say about that. It wasn't very interesting. It was only a couple seconds, but I was like, whoa, that was really crazy timing. What else? Okay, so then while I was in Europe, I had a bunch of people, when they found out that I was American, ask me what I think about Donald Trump. And it was funny. We were at lunch, and the couple of the ladies at my table were talking to the table next to us, and they found out that I was from America. So one of the men turned to me and said, oh, you're from America. What do you think about Donald Trump? And I was like, oh, I love him. And he was like, he looked very confused for a second, and he was like, but he's a crazy man. And I was like, yeah, I know, I love him. But most people seemed to kind of get it. At least most people that I was around liked him too. And saw the good that he was doing. And I didn't see any yellow vests while I was in France, but we didn't really hang around, I guess, where they are. Plus, we weren't there on a weekend. I guess they're there on the weekends, but I kind of was hoping I would run into them. I wanted to wear my Q shirt, but a friend advised me not to. Uh-oh, sorry if you guys are having trouble with the connection. But I went to Belgium. That's where I spent most of the time. I think it might be the most beautiful place. It's the most beautiful country I think I've ever seen. Maybe only equal to Scotland. Scotland was also really beautiful, but I didn't go to Scotland this time. I spent most of the time in Belgium. We went to Bruges and Brussels, Ghent, where else? Canoca. I think that's it. No Q shirt, just because, you know, I don't know, you just have to be careful. You have to be careful when you're in another country and kind of step lightly, and I understand that. You don't want to be so in your face or whatever, but I would have liked to have gone and take some pictures with them. But also, from what I understand, although, you know, I stand with the yellow vests and what they originally started out advocating for and fighting for, I do think that just like everything like that, now we've got some bad apples in there that are there just to start problems. And I know that they've been, you know, looting and causing problems for some of the local people. And again, this is not the group that we associate with. It's always a shame when stuff like that happens, because the whole group gets blamed, and it usually is just a few bad apples who aren't even there for the original purpose anyway. Belgium chocolate, yes, I ate my fair share. I think I gained like 10 pounds while I was there. I was treated like a total queen, and our hostess was just the best in the world, and her cooking was phenomenal, and it really kind of made me excited about cooking again. I want to start making some more exciting foods. I feel like I'm brain dead right now, you guys. I'm really sorry. But I wanted to come on and do this because it's been so long since I've talked to all of you, and you had a funny Clint Eastwood story in Canoca. That's funny. Yeah, I could see that. Love wearing my QAnon shirt in Australia. Nobody understands it. Yeah, I wear mine to the gym sometimes here, and I've caught a few looks, but nothing really. People don't know what it is, I guess. The red armbands, are those the bad ones? Do you call them bad waffles in Belgium? Checking in from Guatemala. Oh, cool. Thank you for being here. Oh yeah, Corey Lewandowski, is that his name? Yesterday, the hearing, he was really funny. I wish I could have watched that live. I only saw bits and pieces, but everything out of his mouth was just pure gold. So I really love him. And he kind of came out of nowhere for me, but I am a big fan now. But I am back. Nobody understands it in the USA. Chicken and waffles, yeah. They don't do the chicken so much, but the waffles I saw. Lots of croquettes, very delicious. Lots of French fries, which I was happy about because that might be my favorite food. Oh yes, red armbands are the French brown shirts. Yuck. I did not see the yellow vests in France. Belgium has a place for the real Hunger Games? What? Crepes, I didn't have any crepes while I was there. But I gained, yes, French fries with mayo. I used to be just absolutely repulsed by mayo, but now I like kind of started to tolerate it. And then I was like, okay, I get it. I get it, it's not bad. I was eating my French fries with mayo. When in Rome. Do you think the deep state was the ones involved with the refinery in Saudi Arabia? I don't know. I've only seen, I have a few articles saved in my little catalog thing that I go back to, and I haven't really read into that yet. So I will keep you updated if I figure anything out or if I have any opinions on that, but I don't yet. The Royals hunt people, yuck. KFC now doing chicken on a donut. I saw that and it looks quite delicious. Or am I just fat now? Ever since I got back too, I can't stop eating. I think also just because my rhythm is off. I never wake up hungry. I usually can't eat until noon, but I'm waking up just like ravenous. Oh, sorry if you guys can't see me. Hopefully you'll be able, I don't know. Hopefully it'll fix itself. Thank you. I missed you guys too. Every country has their own deep state. That is correct. I do believe that it's kind of everywhere. It was interesting talking to the people over there because the people that I was with are very worldly, very smart, and it was interesting getting their take on it. Of course, I don't want to go all the way there with all of the things that I've been researching. Oh, another really interesting thing. Thank you, Jimmy. Love all you do. Thanks. Stay up, stay positive. Thank you so much. Another interesting thing was on my flight home, I was sitting next to a lady who was, actually, she might be watching this because we exchanged info and she was interested about my channel, so she was going to check it out. Anyway, I was sitting next to a woman who is a psychotherapist in Hollywood, actually, and I was reading the, it's right over there, but I can't see the title, the Franklin cover-up. And so she looked at it and she was like, oh, a little light reading. And I said, oh, have you ever heard of this before? She said, no, not really. So I was kind of explaining it to her and she was like, oh, are you know, something to the effect of, why are you interested in something like that? So I was telling her a bit about all of my research and what I've been into and all of the things I've been finding out and a little bit about my YouTube channel and what I do here. And she was really interested. And also, when I got to the part about the satanic ritual abuse, she said to me, you know, I have a friend who was a part of that. And I was like, what do you mean? Were they a victim or were they like practicing? And she said, no, they were a victim of that. And I thought, how interesting that so many of us probably do know we've all got a different piece and we do have a different connection, but it's still, even though she knows this person, it's, I'm sure, very hard for her to wrap her brain around the fact that this is a regular practice around the world, and that there are thousands of people with experiences just like that, and that these are not just, you know, monsters that hide in the shadows that do these things. These are the people that whose names we know, who are just like all the stories that I went over in the beginning of this live, that are guilty of this stuff. So, and she's not the first person by far that I've met that has a connection to somebody that has suffered abuse from, you know, satanic rituals. So that's pretty crazy. Dopey clowns are getting hung upside down. Hello from West Virginia. Hello. Totally misread tentacles. The Franklin cover-up should be taught in schools. Absolutely. Definitely more people should read it. The copy was given to me by somebody, and I feel like when I'm done with it, I'm going to pass it along, because it's really important for us to keep this circulated. It is so important. I also kind of I definitely want to do a video on it when I'm done with it, but I kind of want to go back and start all over and make a chart, because I'm kind of a visual person, because it's written by one of the prosecuting attorneys, and it's very just factual. This, on this date, this happened, and on this date, this happened with this person. And again, there are a lot of players. And so I would kind of like to chart all of the dates and the names so you can kind of keep it straight, because it is a lot to go through. It doesn't read like a, you know, murder mystery. It's just a lot of facts. So, which is great, but it is very eye-opening. And I'm glad I got some time to read it, but again, it wasn't even, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be on an airplane for decades. I might as well bring all my books, and I didn't read anything while I was there. I had no time. Hello from Puerto Rico. Hello. But yeah, if you guys have not read the Franklin cover-up, that's so far, I mean, it was recommended to me. I already know what it's about. I already know kind of the story, but I haven't finished reading it myself. But I'm sure it's great. I'll let you know. I'm going to do a video on it. Tommy Robinson got cops to arrest extremists that threatened to kill his family. Oh, I haven't heard of that. Okay, I haven't seen that. Mythical, were you still working on the second part of your piece on journalism and regulation changes in the Obama administration? I would like to know more. Yeah, you know, it's still in the chamber, still working on that, and definitely, yeah, I'm going to get to that eventually, and I don't know in what order I'm going to do things. I'm all over the place. Uh-oh, do we have a troll? Hello from the Republic of California. How exotic. Hello, thank you. If that is your native language. Who knows these days? Star Wars episodes to piece together in composition. Good wins over evil. Yeah, it's interesting going back and watching Star Wars again, and in the light of everything that's going on in the world right now, it really is so very true. So very real, other than, you know, the weird creatures, well, that we know of, right? They could very well be real. Back then, the deep state was more active in the Republican Party, and the CIA was the boogeyman. Start like a police report, answer the major Q, who, what, where, when. Yeah, interesting stuff is the how and the why. Yep, that's good. I am launching the anti-troll drone fighters now. Thank you. Oh, your native language is actually Hungarian. That's cool. That was another thing that I felt kind of just less than while I'm in Belgium. All the people I'm around speak at least 3 languages over there, and I speak barely 2. I speak 2 languages, neither of them well. So I would really like to get better, at least at my second language, and I don't know, perhaps learn French or something. I do have a desire, but who's got the time? Not me. Has anyone watched the movie from 1980 called Battle Beyond the Stars? I haven't. Should I put that on my list? I'll put that on my list. Use the Force, Kate, if only I could. Hello. I speak profanity. I speak profanity too. At least in both languages, I do know. Actually, I know some really yucky phrases in Farsi. That's about it. Nothing usable, unless you get a stomach ache. Spanish as a second language as a start. Yeah, I guess. The first time I went to France, see, I can't even speak English well. I was able to get around with some of my Spanish, but again, the first time I was there was during the World Cup when Spain was actually playing, and so there were a lot of Spanish-speaking people in France. Do I believe in the vril? I don't know much about that. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other anything else interesting, because since I've been out of the loop with what's been going on in the real world, I'm trying to think of any interesting stories from there, other than just it being beautiful and a wonderful time and just being completely isolated. Usually when I go out of town somewhere, I'm still kind of in contact with the people I'm normally in contact with, and I'm usually still keeping up with news and everything. I just kind of completely shut off when I went there. So yeah, I'm having a real hard time like acclimating and looking into these things again. I have to like get ready. I have to get back into the swing of things. French is annoying, masculine, feminine. Oh, yeah, you know, I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about the, you know, kind of the attack on genders as it is right now with, you know, people wanting to raise their babies genderless and like, how dare you assume my sexuality or whatever. And then I was thinking of, you know, the Romance languages like French and Spanish where objects actually have gender. Like, is that going to be a problem eventually? Probably it will. I feel like there were, Navy says UFO videos are real. Yes, thank you for bringing that up. That's another thing I didn't put in there. I didn't go through the articles about that. But again, that's kind of, I feel like a soft disclosure. I mean, we're getting little bits and pieces here, but actually I saw a tweet from Jordan Sather that kind of summed it up well. He's like, well, yeah, they're saying that the videos are real, but they actually have these technologies. They have these UFOs. So they're not even giving us like a fraction. So it's oh, that was one of the things that my friends over there brought up, was something to the effect of hearing that there would be a big alien invasion or whatever. That was the conspiracy theory that they were hearing over there or whatever. So I made sure to tell them that if something like that happens, don't believe it. That was one of the first things I told my own mother. I was like, listen, you know, if something like this happens and there is an alien invasion and they're telling us that they're going to come and eat our brains, don't believe it. Remain calm. This is not true. That's not going to happen. Like, come on, guys. If aliens exist, they're already here. If aliens wanted to suck our brains and eat them, they would already be doing it. So, yes, UFOs are terrestrial. I think UFOs are both terrestrial and non-terrestrial. I think we've got both. George Carlin spoke truth. Yes, he did. My phone is female. Yes, Project Bluebeam, exactly, with the aliens. And I don't know how they plan to do that. I think with holograms, right? And then it was interesting to see that what was it? It's been so long since I researched this, but I believe there was some kind of Apple facility in, I'm going to say Silicon Valley, that was shaped like a ring. The building itself is shaped like a ring, and technically, if you think about that, if you put projectors or you put the whatever you call it with holograms or holographic technology around, you could project something into the sky from, you know, 360 degrees. So I don't know, that might be something to look into more. You guys do it, I'm busy. But I did think that that was interesting. Maybe someday I do want to get into more of the UFO and alien stuff. It would can't starve here in Florida. I'm assuming you mean of brains. Yes. Oh, chat is jumping around. Alien invasion will be another USA false flag. I agree. So again, if you see on the news, although I was kind of blown away, what was it? One of the articles I put down below was, I think it was one of the Ed Buck. I can't remember now. Let me look at my things. No, it wasn't that. It wasn't that. No, it wasn't that. Ah, crap. Oh, it was one of the articles I put for the thousands of fetal remains found at the home of the abortion doctor. That second one, the USA Today story article, I was really surprised at their honesty and the way that they worded it. And in reading it, you know, we've got some of these news sources out there that we know are telling the truth, but for the majority, most of them are spinning, leaving things out, or they're, at least if they're putting a spin to it, it's usually against what they should be for, etc. This one seemed more, I don't know, you guys read it and let me know what you think, but I had to go back up and check, like, this is USA Today? That's crazy. It seemed very honest, and it was the one, I think, that made the connection to Pete Booty Grease in the hometown, and I thought that was interesting because most mainstream outlets would shy away from those kinds of connections. So I was like, oh, that's awesome. It's interesting. You know, I went out of town and I feel like I came back to a whole new world, like things are happening. And if you haven't been looking into this very long, I will say that, in my opinion, Ed Buck is a huge arrest. It's no Clinton and it's no Obama, but we're getting there. Like, if this would have happened last year, everybody would have been like, oh my God, it's happening. It's happening right now. So many things that I saw, even just today and yesterday, make it seem like things are happening right now. I mean, that's big. We'll see. If an alien dies on Earth, would they be subjected to our hell? I don't know. I'm not sure how that works, but that's interesting. Did you see on Fox the other day they were talking about UFOs? I have seen some UFO stories. I think that's what we were talking about above in the mainstream media lately, with the Navy admitting that they, that these are, what do they call them now? Unidentified aerial somethings, phenomenons. That's their new term for it. Again, though, yes, I did see that, come to think of it, because they had Nick Pope on there as their expert, and I'm not really sure what I make of him yet. I'll just put it that way. But I don't trust Fox anymore either, if we're being honest. Once they were acquired by Disney and they started employing some very questionable people, I really think that there are still some good people at Fox, but I don't trust them as a network anymore. That's just me. Oh yeah, 8chan. Any news on 8chan? Does anybody have been checking on 8chan every now and then, and the connection would time out? Now I get directed to some sort of site dedicated to the victims of mass shootings. Interesting. I have not seen that. I haven't even tried the site yet because I just figured it was still down. I figured I would hear it if it was back up. Andy McCabe will go down soon. I believe that as well. Arrests or it didn't happen. Flood in NYC on dollar bill, next false flag. I don't know about that. Ed Buck is domino 2. Ed Buck is definitely large domino 2. That is for sure. We're getting a lot of other dominoes, but they're kind of like smaller, which I know is not how dominoes work. But you get it. Unidentified flying genders. Have I had any contact experience? I think so. I went over that in one of my other lives, just a blue orb when I was a kid, but nothing really beyond that. Greetings from Iceland. Hi, that was where my layover was on my way to and from Belgium. And I wish I would have had more time to spend there because talk about looking like another planet. Oh my God, gorgeous. The ones with secrets are getting fitter for prison suits and deals. Oops. Yes, abortion doctor would. Yep. I don't know. You guys read that article. Ed Buck is the second keystone. Yeah, so as soon as I saw the Ed Buck's arrest, I went on qmap.pub and looked up, you know, past, I did a little search for Buck, and that was where I saw the July 9th, I think, post by Q highlighting that it was the article about the mother of the second victim. Well, the second victim that we know of, because let's be honest here, guys, how many people don't we know of? Who knows? So, but I know that Ed Buck has come up a lot in the research of the Anons, obviously just because of his connections to Adam Schiff, his connections to the Clintons, the money he donates, et cetera, and the fact that that these stories of these two men dying in his home were public knowledge and nothing ever happened to him. So again, we have a story about an untouchable, connected person, which I think is very good in red-pilling people who aren't paying attention yet, that at least you can get people kind of activated in the two-tier justice system. That will get people, you know, like, yes, everybody agrees that that ain't cool. Lots of arrests, but they all seem to be marginal, at least for now. It is really hard to say, and also it's hard to say if the arrests that we're seeing are it, because it is possible that there are arrests going on behind the scenes. I am one of those people that subscribes to that idea that there are secret arrests happening. By the way, where is Maxine Waters? Anybody know? Has she not been seen lately in public? I do wonder about her. Yep, I've seen that folded dollar thing. That's very interesting. I've done a podcast of accounting my time and experience at the mansion and the players involved. No, I haven't. The closest I've come to telling that story was on The Edge of Wonder. So, yeah. I mean, I don't really know. Well, I don't know a whole lot more other than what I said that I would actually talk about, because a lot of the things that I saw and experienced, I don't know. I definitely wouldn't give any names, and I don't really know much other than what I talked about on there. I feel like that was pretty sufficient. Everything else, there are some, like, you know, rumor kind of things, or there are stories that I've heard, but I wouldn't want to pass those along because I didn't witness these things with my own eyes, and it would just make me really nervous. I would be scared doing that, and I wouldn't feel right. So, but the things that I've heard, that if they are true, how do I put this? If the things that I have heard are true, I believe the Q team already knows about them and that things are already being done. So we'll see, I guess. Yep, Kevin Spacey accuser dies. We went over that. Do I know karate? I did take karate. It was one of my classes in college. I believe that semester I took ballet and golf as well. So I am very well educated. You guys are so funny. Yep, we went over the sick doctor in Illinois that had over 2,000 baby parts. What do you guys think he was doing with that? Well, first of all, I think it's very suspicious that he was covering up for these young victims and not reporting their rapes. That makes it seem to me like he was serving a purpose in protecting certain people. And I don't know what the heck he was doing with those baby parts. It sounded like, I think they said that they were preserved. I don't know. It's really gross. Swamp won't be able to walk the streets. It is true. Yeah, they were cool classes. Actually, my karate instructor in college was so cool. He was like 80 something, and he was telling this story about how he got pulled over just completely shit-faced drunk. And that he had to get out and like walk the line and everything, and he did everything perfectly because he's this sensei karate instructor, and he's like so in control of his movements and everything. But then the cop found out that he was a karate instructor, and then they made him take a breathalyzer. So he got in trouble. Anyway, I'll always remember that story. You know, it's the little things that you learn in college that have nothing to do with the curriculum, right? What kind of liberal arts college did you go to, Kate? I went to, it's not even worth mentioning. I only went to college for a couple years, and then I had to move, and I never went back. I mean, I went back to the school I went to for hypnotherapy is technically an accredited whatever, but yeah, I do not have a degree. Collecting babies for rituals. Interesting. Yes. Gross. Thanks for not saying Illinois. Would that be Illinois? Did you see how Bush said his mom showed him a fetus from her abortion in a jar? No. I mean, she is Crowley's daughter. Or Crowley's son, however you want to look at it. That was another thing that I made my Belgian friends all look at, were the videos of Michelle Obama with the thing swinging legs, and then also, what's the name of the prime minister, the female prime minister of New Zealand, with her walking down the hall and is like, whoosh, 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 whoosh. Yeah, that was eye-opening to them, I believe. I think that was the thing that did it. Everything, they were like, yeah, yeah, Kate, yeah, yeah. But I showed them that video of Michelle Obama dancing, and they were like, oh, that'll get ya. I believe that that'll get, I think if you show any person, if they'll actually watch that video of Michelle Obama dancing, like, what could you say? She put her keys in her underwear? I don't think so. He didn't want to file the report, so no one knew how many abortions he was doing. Well, would that really matter? I mean, if you are legally doing abortions, why would you need to hide the amount that you're doing? I mean, if you're doing them legally. So, I don't know. Interesting that Bush delivered pizza, Secret Service. Yeah. Yes, that was interesting. Twigs and berries. There you have it, folks. Oh yeah, Joe Biden took down the breakfast deal. I saw that corn pop thing. I don't even know. I didn't even look into that. But I did see that something he said the other day would bring back 750 million jobs to the US, and there are only 330 million people here. So somebody help this man. Give him a nap. Give him his slippers. Let him retire in peace. Please, Lord. Let me put the puzzle piece out there. They are using babies as products, in creams and etc. to look younger. They are desensitizing us now, as you can buy skin cream with baby foreskin. Yeah, was it Sandra Bullock that, Sandra Bullock that talked about that, I believe, on Ellen. There are a bunch of other celebrities that have talked about using this foreskin cream on their skin, that it's like this miracle, whatever. There was also, speaking of desensitizing us, there was an article I saw recently, I think it came out this week in Teen Vogue, about using your menstrual blood in like witchcraft practices. And yeah, there have been a lot of mainstream articles, I'll say recently, but honestly, I've been seeing it ever since I started following Q. I remember one of the first things I saw that again, I was like, whoa, I can't believe I was making this connection. Were these kind of mainstream articles about using blood of younger people in, you know, to give you a youthful appearance and things like that, things just putting, or like there was that CNN anchor that did the piece where he ate brains with like some cannibalistic tribe, and I started really realizing how much they put it in our faces, and especially seeing that they're putting this kind of stuff in Teen Vogue. I can't believe the stuff that they're putting in Teen Vogue. I mean, I've seen articles about like anal sex and whatever. It was not that, I mean, granted, I am no spring chicken, but it was not that long ago that I was a teenager myself, and I can't even begin to fathom why a teenager would need to know that. And of course, people argue, oh, you know, times are different now, and they need to know this stuff. Well, the reason they need to know this stuff is because we're shoving it out there in the open and forcing them to know it. There's no reason a child needs to know about this stuff. Kate Blanchett too, yeah. I gotta see that Michelle Obama dancing video. Any links? Look up Michelle Obama dancing on Ellen. You'll find it. She's wearing like white linen pants. It won't be hard to find. There are some that are like edited. You might have to dig to find the one that is edited and slowed down, and in the slowed down version, it is just absolutely undeniable. Yes, it was Make Your Menstrual Blood Magical. Exactly. That was the Teen Vogue article. Did I cover Joe's dentures? No, I haven't seen anything about that. Yep, went through that. Some things should be learned on the streets. I agree. Corn pop. Yep, that was funny. This poor man. Why would she dance when she knows her junk will be visible? That's a good question. Maybe she had some kind, it's really something I don't want to think about, if I'm being honest. I don't really want to think about, but maybe she forgot her tight underwear. I don't know. I don't know why. Oh, thank you, Rob. Looks like Rob posted the link to that video if you guys want to check it out. Rob, is there a reason you had that clip so quickly? Joe almost lost his teeth in the debate the other night. Oh man. See, that kind of stuff just makes me sad. I do feel sad. There's just a part of me that can never find joy in that kind of humiliation, no matter how evil a person is. But at the same time, he's pretty awful. He danced because they're throwing stuff right in your face. Yeah, that's true too. You know, part of what these people do is to be blatant, or perhaps they're being controlled by people that force them to do these things that make them look like they're fools, or exposes some part of them. Y'all know it. They like to put it in your face. Thank you, Steve. Exactamundo. I do think that's all I have for you guys, and I have to go make dinner. But I'll return this week, and I feel like, what's his name? Mr. Rogers. I will be back, and I will have more ideas for you. Thank you, guys. I missed you. And you're the best. I'll see you guys soon.